Thomas Thierst videos are brought to you by my Patreons and viewers like you. Thank you. The Awdry Extravaganza has come a long way in these short few years, and each year these events seem to get better and better. However, this year was the 80th anniversary of the Thomas franchise, so the event organisers really pulled out all the stops, no pun intended. So much happened at this year's events. All the locomotives on the railway were dressed up with faces as usual, with the fleet even gaining 2 new faces. And even some new characters like George, Mike and Duke came to visit the railway. And there were plenty of TV series props on display at the railway too. There was loads of special trains and even an update from Richard Awdry about Sodor in 2025. There's also plenty of stuff that I don't mention in the video, so make sure to check out other Awdry Extravaganza videos on YouTube if you haven't already. You may also remember I lost a bet last year where I had to dress up as Underground Ernie at this year's event, and well, you can't say I didn't stay true to my word. This is the Ernie Extravaganza. So as usual, I took the ferry over to Wales. And don't worry, I didn't lose my car keys this time. On the ferry, I met a fan who was also heading over to the event, which was cool. Eventually we arrived at the railway, where we saw Palmerston dressed up as Duke. Now there wasn't too much going on at the railway, mostly just getting ready for the weekend's event and stuff like that. The following day was when stuff got really interesting. We saw Sir Hayden dressed up as a very proud Sir Handel. And clearly Duke was very proud of him too. The arranged trucks in the yard also had faces on them, done by volunteers Sammy and M. George was also given a face, alongside Duncan too. Duncan made it. These two clearly hate each other, and I love it.
I hate you, Duncan.
Now I wasn't expecting Duncan at the event since number 6 spoiler ticket had expired, but the volunteers cleverly put a face on number 6 spoiler, so he was technically there, just on a flatbed. Even the flatbed looks like his old buffer beam. While George himself was the real George. The steamroller Thistledown was owned by Teddy Boston, and would inspire the character of George in the railway series.
George was not happy.
But the best part was Veronica's yearly speech by Sir Handel, which is a very sweet tribute to her father.
Hello everybody, it's so nice to see so many of you, and this early in the morning as well.
Now luckily for me, I got the exhibition ticket rather early on the Friday, so I got to see the props good and early. Although what was really cool was that the railway hid real prop figures in the regular museum, so even if you didn't have a ticket, you could still see them. My favourite was Mr. Bubbles driving Taloclin. That was quite funny. Inside the exhibit itself, there was the Fat Controller's office alongside Lady Hat and a boy figure.
Hello.
Next to those were some Thomas faces, and our boy Thomas himself running along the track. Sam Wilkinson was operating the Thomas face, and I will say he was very pleasant to speak to about Thomas's history. I feel like Sam gets a bit too much hate sometimes from the fandom, but I do appreciate him speaking to me.
It really gives them life, doesn't it? Look at him! Yeah, he's doing the circle thing. Oh my god, that's so cool.
There was also a large-scale Clarabelle, along with photos from a never-before-seen intro filmed for the hit era. While I think I am still okay with the final intro they went with, I would still love to see this intro one day. I got to meet the Billy prop, which is something I never thought I'd say.
Billy.
Edward was also there, alongside Gordon and Henry. Looks like the big 3 from the railway series. Very fitting for the 80th.
Yeah, I don't know what yesterday was.
What is this, Educating Gordon Day?
Duck was also there too, and a cool props Thomas was there too.
You're a very bossy engine, Thomas.
Lots of cool random stuff like the workman on Henry or Gordon's snowplow, and hey, even the refreshments lady too. After all these years, it's really great to see that people still really love looking at these models. After all that, I got to catch up with old friends like Eli or Enterprising Engines, and I also met a fan called Harry, who gave me Ernie 1, yes, the Bachman Ernie 1, with a handwritten letter, which was really nice of him. Like, these things are super rare, so that means a lot to me. In fact, I got a lot of gifts from fans. I got 2 Phillips from Aaron, I got an Elizabeth, a Luke, a keychain Thomas because car keys of course, a circle, a dog toy, an inbox Bakerloo, and a really weird book from The Doctor on YouTube. I seriously can't thank you all enough for these gifts. There were also some BBC cameras on the train, designed to look like the illustration BBC cameras, which were really cool. The amount of creativity on display at the railway was crazy. So many different collections of engines lined up along the benches of the railway. Inside the tent there was an active track so that models could bring their engines along and have them actually run at the railway. I took this chance to run my Ernie 1 along the layout, and I had no idea this thing had a working light on the front of it. I love this thing so much.
Have you got anything else to say or not?
There was also cool replicas like Stanley or the Stepney prop. I even got to see this new Rebecca, and I must say, it's quite a nice model. Also, having Flying Scotsman, the new Bachmann announcement, happen at the railway was really fun, though I know for a fact Scotsman's gonna cost so much. Wharf was starting to get a little bit busy, so when I saw Talaclin arrive in the yard, I decided to hop on the train and take it down the line. Along the way, we saw the TV train heading back down the line.
Oh my gosh! It's the boys!
I really value these train rides at these events. It's a nice, peaceful ride down the line, and reminds us that this is really the railway with a heart of gold. And at the incline, we got to recreate being Peter Sam and the trucks.
Hey man.
Hello. I'm a sleet truck.
We decided to hang back for a bit and get some cool pictures of Reneus pulling the Mike Special. The fact that they actually got River Mite all the way from the Ravenglass just to dress up as Mike for this event is pretty crazy. On the way back, the BBC train was going up the line again.
Fire me! I made the BBC!
I was shocked at how many people actually recognised me at the railway.
Hello, Thomas,
Hello! Oh my god, hello everyone!
I took so many pictures with so many people in the fandom. It was really cool, and I'm very grateful to all of you who spoke to me.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, wherever you are. Hello.
Hello! Hello!
Of course, after that, I had to get a ride on Duke, where you could pay £2 to ride on him. Now, of course, it was a short ride because he's a different gauge from all the other engines, but still fun. The day ended with a lecture by Tim Dunn and Richard Awdry, who updated us about Sodor in 2025. There was lots of really cool lore drops, the main being that Richard is taking over from Christopher as the railway historian, but he is still insisting that he'll write no more books. Ian McHugh was also at the event, which was really cool, and he even signed my book. It was lovely to actually meet Ian for the first time ever, and it was a lovely end to the day. I wasn't around the following morning. Instead, this guy called Ernie went to the railway, whoever that is. At Wharf, Ernie got a surprise when Albert and Jerry appeared, adorning new faces, with Jerry's being based on Runiars's face from Gallant Old Engine, and Scarloi's from Little Old Twins.
So we are witnessing history here. Canon history.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The two engines then took Ernie and the Irish boys up the railway. The plan was simple, to take care of Ernie that evening at the top of the line.
Down with this sort of thing. Careful now.
Celebrity.
It wasn't too long before we arrived at Abergynolwyn, where we watched number 1 and 2 turn around.
Happy belated birthday, man. Thank you, I just turned 30.
Before heading up to the incline. This was my first time properly going up to the top.
Damn.
Where we filmed a quick skit with Ernie.
Fake it for the camera, you whack it like that and then I go back.
And then after that we hiked back to Abergynolwyn. And we also got a picture at the crossing during the hike.
Probably something you hear in a World War.
Look at all the boys. Ask yourselves.
I haven't seen you in a long time. Jerry, remind you.
Ah, Jerry.
With Mike.
And in the station, there was even more models on display, which I hadn't had a chance to look at before.
Have you ever been to the Hara model railway?
There were bridges
So I can see even more.
and little wagons on the bridges. There was water towers, narrow gauge faces, and the Skarloey prop itself.
You think that's funny? So cool. I always wondered what large scale Duke were handles because the hit era basically turned them into Duke.
Another highlight was, of course, getting to see the Reverend's Farquhar layout. Since getting into modelling trains myself, I found it even more interesting to look at his layouts, though poor old Toby had a slight derailment.
Oh no. Poor Elsie.
On the way back down the line, we got to see many other locos, such as Peter Sam passing through.
Hello.
And then we saw Mike again. We also saw Ivo Hugh. He has fans, right? We seen Albert again back at Wharf. And how could we forget good old Jerry? It seems these two survived the Mid-Sodor Railway, and from what I heard, it was private owners from beyond Sodor who saved them.
Hello.
And much like last year, we caught Sir Handel passing from the shed to Wharf.
Run away.
And we got some pictures of his train passing under the footbridge. Since I had the photo chatter with Sir Handel, I had to wait at Wharf for a bit. Though despite that, there was still plenty of amazing stuff there.
He's really cool. I think he's cool.
But then when I got the photo chatter, silly old Sir Handel kept stopping and starting the train. Even the crew were cross at him. Though this did give the passengers a chance to recreate some classic illustrations, such as him at the Farmer's Crossing. The train would then run backwards and forwards 2 or 3 times to give a chance for people to get pictures of Sir Handel passing through the crossing. It was quite fun seeing him go backwards and forwards, and trying to figure out which new shot you could get. I think it's about trying to get unique shots, like ones you can't get on a model railway. I especially love these wagons added on the back of the train. It really feels like he's taking extra stock up to the quarry or something. I think some of the shots that I got look good, and some of them look kinda bad. But at the same time, locking down the camera really helps just take everything in my opinion.
So Handel's a sloppy drinker.
He certainly is.
It also helps you catch some screaming trucks too. We got a few more photos and videos at the top of the line before it was finally time to take care of Ernie, Peaky Blinders style. Sadly, Ernie wasn't around the next day, however I was around, and taking in all the cool models in the tent. A lot more fans seemed to be around this time, as a big photo was to be taken at the end of the day. In fact, the coaches were so full, Albert also had a slight wheel slip.
Oh! Bit of wheel slip.
Sadly, I wasn't at the talk with Ian McHugh the night before, but from what I heard, they watched The Adventure Begins on the big screen, and apparently people sang along with the movie, with the most emotional part being at the end, where everyone sang along to He's a Really Useful Engine. This was Ian's first time ever seeing a theatre packed with Thomas fans singing along to his movie, and you can tell that he was very emotionally moved by it. And what was cooler was that I actually got to properly meet both Ian McHugh and Tom Denham again at the railway.
Thank you for all your
This is Underground Ernie. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yes, I've heard of this.
By the way, if you haven't checked out their podcast, you should probably do that. It's pretty interesting stuff. After all this time, it's still so clear to me that Ian has a big passion for Thomas. I appreciate that. Now, one train experience I hadn't yet to do at the railway was the talking train. Tim Dunn and Veronica Chambers would speak through the train as it would go along through a series of speakers.
It showcases the challenges faced by Sir Hayden when she first pulled trains on the Talith Linn.
And it was very immersive and impressive. But what was really cool was that there was a mudslip up the line, and both our train and Rusty's train were stopped while it was cleared. It actually felt like being in a Thomas episode. Hey, I love escaping to places, especially when they're up the line. And I was really enjoying the peace of the Welsh countryside, because I knew when I got back to Wharf it was going to be busy. And it was. I had never seen so many people at Wharf.
Stand back from the edge of the platform, please!
While we waited for the photo, I decided it would be best if we headed down to the beach. We didn't see any car keys down there, of course. However, it was still nice to take a break from everything and just enjoy the lovely seaside.
Fire and smoke. I'm sunk.
Though eventually we did have to head back, as it was time for the photo. Peter Sam arrived back with the train, and all the engines were getting shunted into place, and all the locals would get chanted as they went along. There was the Fred chant.
Oh, sorry.
And then Rusty too, and Sir Handel got chanted. Things started getting really crazy when the drone started flying around.
Oh my god, look at everyone cheering for the drone.
But luckily Molten Mike finally got a chant for himself. But once all the engines were in position, they let out a huge chorus of whistles. All the purple shirts were there, the Awdry family was there, all lined up perfectly for that one perfect picture. It was insane. Never before has so many people been at Wharf. This event has really come a long way from where it once was, and the photo really proves that. After all the craziness of the final day at Awdry, a nice simple trip to the Vale of Rydal Railway was exactly what I needed. The railway climbs up into the high Welsh mountains, and we had been here before in the first Journey Beyond Ireland. We didn't do too much this day, but that was okay because I think everyone was kind of tired at that point. What I did find cool though was these 3 bridges. I had never seen them before, and I'd never heard the folklore behind them, but it was pretty cool. However, when we did return to Wharf later that day, I was happy to find my friend Sammy's garden railway party.
That's okay, Dante.
And won't you believe Sammy still had the look that I gave her all that time ago?
He's on the flatbed, wow.
It's a train!
I could spend hours lining up the camera just along this railway, trying to get the best shots of the locos going around.
Uh-oh.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And afterwards, the loco that Sammy was ringing around had quite a smell in it.
Oh, I smell that. I love how you're holding it like a kipper.
Not too much happened the next day before I left. Mostly everyone had gone home by this point. I did see, however, that the only merch left in the shop was the All Engines Go stock, and part of me wonders if the reason why the new merch is so hard to get into stores is because a lot of this old stock isn't selling, but that's just my theory. Though what was really cool was we got to see an upgraded Nelson taking away George the steamroller from the Talith Railway.
Da 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 da. Bye, George.
Bye, George. Again, I still find it crazy that the real George was actually brought down for this. And it wasn't too long before I arrived back in Ireland myself. So yeah, that was the final Awdry Extravaganza. I think all the purple shirts should be very proud of their work, and will be taking a much needed rest after all of this. I think we should all wish them well, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the Awdry Extravaganza. This was an amazing event. This was a real celebration of Thomas. Not just from the Reverend, but for Christopher, for Richard, for even Britt. This was a really good celebration, and I hope the 80th celebrations will continue on for the rest of the year. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Slán Abhaile.